This is George from MCS Dog Training and Cover 6 Canines. Today I want to take a couple minutes to talk to you about the problem with traditional dog collars and why they actually encourage your dogs to pull. Right here I have my associate Odin. He's a 22-month-old Old English Bulldog, and he's actually my service dog. So with breeds like him, the bigger guys, you know, the manly man dogs, probably the most common type of chain is a choker chain. That's actually not the correct term for it. It's actually a slip lead. So, but the problem comes in is that as you're walking your dog, as soon as the dog gets in front of you and this ends up down the middle of his spine, when he sees something that excites him or something that scares him and he starts to pull, it's actually activating his trachea, just like you getting choked. And what that means for him is he gets this overwhelming sensation that he's trapped and he wants to pull away even more. Well, when somebody pulls on you, you pull back and you get this going back and forth and it sounds like the dog is choking themselves. That's one of the problems. The other problem is that collars, they slip down here all the way to the base of his neck, and that gives him a lot more power to pull, and it's not staying in the same position all the time. This happens whether it's this choker collar, whether it's a prong collar, or whether it is a, just your regular standard flat collar. So there's a problem there for several reasons. One is the pulling. Two is when you want to give him a correction, if he's going off and he's nosing something, you don't want him to nose. By the time you recognize that as a known stimulus, 1.25 seconds, by the time you decide that you're going to correct him, you have to take up all the slack on that, and now you get your correction. And again, it's still too low to be effective because he's a big boy. He's 80 pounds, all right? So instead of the prong collars, instead of the flat collars, instead of the choker collars, he wears just to carry his tags around. And definitely instead of the harnesses, because if I wanted to make you pull weight, I wouldn't put anything around your neck, I'd put it around your chest. It only allows a dog to pull harder and does not allow you to control their head. And that was the reason why I came up with the immediate correction collar, all right? I make them, they're handmade, they're sewn by me using parachute cord, heavy duty 10mm climbing rope, and they're actually sewn with bank line, what you'd put decoys out with. I hand sew every one, they're guaranteed for life. What this allows you to do is when you put that on your dog, you want it like it's in the shape of a P, you put it on your dog, slip it over, big old head, okay? And you want to pull their scruff down so it's all the way up there right against the base of their skull underneath their jaw, okay? And then you want to place this underneath the right ear, and you want to use your slider to hold it in place. And I have about 3 fingers, now I got 4 fingers underneath there, and it stays up on Odin's head. So what happens when I put this on, he's getting excited because this is what we use for his training. He's a service dog. We put on our regular 6-foot lead, not an expandable lead, okay? Now, he's a big boy with 2 fingers. Watch the correction I get. He's looking at a car that's going by. So what that does is it breaks that 1 to 3 second concentration that a dog has in front of him. It pulls him off to the side. Dogs just like us don't have great balance to the side. And it also forces him every time to look at, he takes correction. It forces him to look at who's ever on the other end of that lead. So since it's already staying in place that's nice and high, even a bigger dog, they have the least amount of control and strength the farther you go towards their nose, and the last point you have to connect with that is up by their ears. It's also where mom picked them up when they were little, so it calms them down a little bit. And right here on the side of the neck, you'll notice that's where mom would take her teeth and where she would nip them to give them correction. So that's pretty natural for them to take correction there. It does not do anything at all to harm their trachea. Regular collars and slip leads and all that kind of stuff will, if they get to travel down the back, again, you're pulling straight in line with the spine. When we have it here, we're pulling against all the muscle on the side of his neck. So we're going to show you some different things we do with it and how we use it. But the thing is this is what we use on all of our service dogs, and I use on all my private clients, and it doesn't matter if they're Chihuahuas or Pit Bulls, all dogs respond the same. You can see it kind of relaxes them a little bit. So when you hold it up in front of the dog's head, you want to make sure it's in the shape of a P. Hope you can see that at home. I'm going to slip it over Odin's head. I'm going to grab his scruff as I pull to the side, and I want to make sure it's right up underneath the base of his skull, up underneath his chin, up against his jawbone. I'm going to push the ring up there, right underneath his right ear, and then I'm going to walk the slider forward, and that's what's going to hold it in place, and I can still get my entire hand underneath there. But that's what allows me to give him the immediate correction. You can see here I have the regular slip collar, or also known as the choke chain, on Odin. And you can see that as soon as I release, to get him to correct him, I have to take all that slack, and it's still not in the same place. It's over his shoulder. And then if I get him to go forward of me, and it turns up over here, when I go to pull him, all I'm doing is harming his trachea, okay? Because this isn't the right place. It slides down all the time. Now I've got the immediate correction lead on. As soon as I put this on Odin, he calms down right away. He listens better. This makes the dog very calm because it's up, again, it's high up on their neck. You've probably seen on dog shows where they'll have it, but they'll have it going straight up. Same reason why a lot of dogs freak out at the groomers, because you're putting pressure on their trachea. Here, when it's off to the side, there's no pressure. If I want to make Odin come with me, very gently, all I got to do is foos, because there's no slack to take up. That's why the correction is immediate. If he was, we'll let him walk around here and let him start sniffing something. If he starts sniffing something, I don't want his, maybe it's a cigarette butt or whatever, and now he won't do anything. He's just going to be a good boy, foos. But if I want to change direction, he's going towards something. You can see 80 pounds with a very little gentle pull of just my couple of fingers. Pulls him off to the side, and automatically he goes into a calm, stable position. Balanced dog, easy to control. You can look at our Facebook. We have over 85 5-star reviews. You can look us on Instagram, MCS Dog Training, and what you'll see over and over again from Chihuahuas to Pit Bulls, this is the lead that we use to correct all things. Not just walking on a loose lead, but also jumping, barking, table surfing, controlling the dog in the vehicle, dogs that are dog aggressive, people aggressive. Because what I get to do is I get to redirect him. Foos! And because there's no slack to take up, it breaks that concentration. For a dog to jump up on you or a dog to do anything you don't want them to do, they have to look, and then they lock, they load, and they explode. As soon as you see your dog lock onto something that you think is going to be a problem, you just give a correction. Automatically they come towards you, they look at you. So what they learn to do, if you're calm with your surroundings, then they're calm with their surroundings. That's the immediate correction lead.